So this is literally all it took, having this divider in this box. That's all VitaCust had to do. Yet look at all the aggravation I had to go through. See, this is a new order with new bone broths that arrived in perfect condition pretty much. All it took was this divider. But then my postman goes and see how this box is supposed to be horizontal? For whatever god-awful reason that he's never done for ever in years and years, he's a long-time postman, he put the box vertical. This is horizontal, how it's supposed to be with the VitaCust logo. He put it vertical. And I bitched about it to the same supervisor who was telling me that she believes, places like VitaCust, Amazon, or whatever will never wise up. You could complain for 15 years, but they did finally wise up. But you know what it took? And just because they wised up temporarily means shit. It doesn't mean it won't happen the next time. You understand? That's the thing. Because if they don't employ it as policy, if they don't actually incorporate it into their policy, then the next packer I get, the next won't, And I actually got an email from one of the customer service reps that the higher up people that you've not managed, but they have a team specially designed for when you complain. Well, the good news is you have 60 days, you get a refund or a replacement. I know, but the stress and aggravation it causes. I mean, the second time it came with all the bone broths slightly damaged, and 5 of them as mangled as the first time when my postman dropped everything all over his truck and decided to not tell me, just to put it on my front steps upside down. I mean, it's ridiculous. Well, the second time they arrived like that, I just got my money back. I said I was fed up. And they didn't all arrive that. Half of them did. And I said, I will be perfectly happy to return all of these to you. And I explained the whole situation. The guy's like, don't worry about it. Just keep them. And again, 5 of them threw away. The other 5 were salvageable, supposedly. But the first 10 I completely threw away because I didn't care. They were all had fallen into his truck bottom, and they had been sitting outside, and they could have pinpricks that I don't notice, and it's not worth my mom and I's health for $50 or whatever. I threw them all away, every last one of them. Dumped them out first before putting them in the garbage. They wouldn't be so heavy, and threw them all away. The second ones, I got my money back on, and now this order, I don't know if they were smart with that other order that I'm returning because they know my coconut oil, and I just, because I had spare cash and I wanted to take advantage of their buy one get one free for my coconut oil, even if it was a smaller size, because the bigger size by the time my order went through was out of stock. Even though it lets you order, it lets you do it, doesn't say out of stock, but then in the meantime there's only several left and it winds up being out of stock, and you get a little notice, and then you haven't reached your $100 to get your free VitaCust dollars if you're me and you're pissed, so you just say fuck it, I'll return the first order and I'll immediately reorder it with the smaller coconut oil, which I wanted. I need that. I live on coconut oil. I mean, I cook with coconut oil all the time, and this is Nativa organic virgin coconut oil. It's good crap. Okay? It's good crap that I get at a discount with VitaCust already, and then I get other discounts, and it's worth it. But all it took was that divider. But then my postman should know better after what the crap he pulled a few days prior, and he puts it upright on my steps for no reason whatsoever. If food is put in a box for a reason, I've had repeated problems. You know that I have. You're the one who delivered it when it the stuff inside exploded and oil was all over the outside of the box recently, and then before that, tart cherry juice was outside of all 4 boxes. And one was the culprit box that had covered everything inside with tart cherry juice. You know not to do anything to these boxes that are already so fragile, and yet you put it on my steps horizontally. Why? Why? And I actually say to the supervisor, don't bother to complain. Because don't say anything to him. I've already complained enough, because that's how I feel in this life. It's sickening. People need to do their fucking jobs and do their fucking jobs correctly. And Oma just ate one of my fucking earplugs. I'm sleeping in that horrible box spring mattress that I know for a fact, because I saw it with my own eyes, that mouse was running around on when the mouse was here and pissing and shitting on. And yeah, I'm sleeping on it to get away from, just to hide, to have privacy from my mother. We have different schedules, different hours. I don't sleep very good nowadays, you know. I'm under a lot of fucking stress. My mom's having her second cataract surgery today. Omar's on his drops 3 times a day for the next few weeks. My mom will be on her drops. One of the drops is identical drops to Omar for the next few weeks. I mean, that's on top of other crap that I can't say. Crap about which my closest friends are 100% aware. 100% on my side, by the way. For the record, not that it means anything. Omar just ate one of my earplugs. The foam ones, but if you go online, dogs eat things all the time. He thinks he might as well be a puppy. That's why I warned my mom, because she'll have sharp things that he'll eat, like barrettes and stuff that I don't use. But I wasn't thinking. He was with me. And I had the earplug out and he found it. I took one of them out. They can also fall out in the night. They usually don't. But anything that's happened to any person has happened to other people. If you go online, I mean, there are 4-pound dogs who eat a foam earplug, almost at least almost 15 pounds. But it can cause blockage. Normally it doesn't. But you don't just run to the vets for everything. You watch him. And if you'll know if there's blockage if he doesn't pass the damn earplug. But there are dogs that eat stuff and you don't even know they've eaten it, you know? You just have to pay attention to your pet. Some people rate, like, oh, you should give him some hydrogen peroxide to induce vomiting. I'm not going to do that, right? It does make me a little nervous because it's a foam earplug and it expands, but that's how easy things can happen in this life. Oh. If he winds up needing surgery, my mom will pay for it because she loves him. That's the bottom line. If she didn't love him and he needs tests, I'd have to put him to sleep. That's reality. It's sad reality. It's stabbed me in the heart reality, but it's reality nonetheless. Almost everybody says, oh, that's happened to me, though, when you write that and they're answering it, and don't worry about it, he'll poop it out, the dog will poop it out, the cat will poop it out, whatever they say, they'll poop it out. He doesn't choose shit, you know that. Maybe that's one of his problems with gaining weight, I don't know. But he's never chewed shit, and he's always been able to gain weight before because he's been heavy in his life. Heavy for him. Maybe not heavy for some pugs that their owners allow him to get obese, but heavy for Omar, most definitely. He was a little chunky. You guys, some of you, handful of you, you knew me way back then when I was in the shelter and I came to visit my mom. My mom had allowed Omar to get chunky. He was chunky. He was a little, you can see him in some of my older, videos from 2012. Now he's scrawny, trying to fatten him up. He's been eating more than he's ever eaten before, except when stupid, ignorant bitch Hope just wanted to feed him and feed him and feed him. Burrito's hungry, Burrito's hungry. Burrito just ate. Burrito will eat till he explodes and dies, Hope. Burrito's hungry, what can we give him to eat? He's already eaten enough. He has his mush I make him. Let him have his dog food. Can I give him some beans? Let him eat his dog food. You ignorant twit. Oh my God. worst enemy said to me a couple years ago, "How are you still alive?" I know. My obscene sensitivity, but the fact that every fucking little thing in this life upsets me to the point of, combined with my self-destructive behaviors, fucking, I shouldn't be alive. It's a miracle I'm alive. Everything fucking upsets me. Everything. Not just my own personal things. Everything fucking upsets me. I think I found out what happened, how that punk teenager managed to, you know, and yeah, I could call him a punk when somebody innocent is caught. I don't care. Like, somebody even wrote, who cares, even if he didn't know it was a cop, even if it was just, he thought it was a friend of the person's backpack, you still don't kill him. But he stabbed him to death, and I didn't understand how he'd have the opportunity if he had a partner. The cop had a partner, that Italian cop had a partner. Apparently the other one was beating up that partner. So that partner was occupied and didn't realize his partner was actually being stabbed to death. Because I didn't understand once or twice, but I didn't understand how you have an opportunity to stab someone 11 times if you have a partner. And I'm thinking of the United States, you know what I mean? I'm thinking of cops here. You have a partner, your partner is not allowing you to be stabbed to death by you know, so. I believe I might have got the answer to that. So yeah, the majority, everybody pretty much says the dog will poop it out. If they have trouble pooping, then you take them to the vets, and if it winds up being obstruction, it's very rare. But anything can happen, you know? We all know that. Anything can happen in this life. In case I didn't mention, and I know I'm not, you know, everybody's not with me on this, but I hold that grandfather responsible for that toddler, you know, falling 150 feet to her death on that cruise ship, and not the cruise ship. Because I, along with a lot of other people online, believe that you should be able to know if a window is open, number one. Number two, ledges aren't to put toddlers up on. The window is high up, so children can't get up there on their own. You adult put them up. I mean, it's all ridiculous. The grandfather's at fault, and people are writing, a lot of people are writing that, you know, they're sick, it's like I am, of people not wanting to accept responsibility, you know. A tragedy happens and you don't want to accept responsibility, that it's your fault, so you're going to try to cast blame elsewhere. And in this case, on the cruise ship, the distraught mother, you know, is like, why do you need ventilation? Have a fan, you know? It's like, your idiot father-in-law shouldn't have had your little girl up there and not known the window was open. I mean, you have to be right up close to it, and how people said you don't feel the air? How can you not fucking know the window's open? There are people who think he was drunk or senile or something, because how can you not feel the sea air? How can you not know a window is open? How? You have to get up close for the little girl to fall to her death. How could you not know the window was open? I mean, it's ridiculous. And you're going to blame the cruise ship, and you're going to get an attorney within hours or something, within a day. People are just, you know, disgusted by it all. But I told you, no matter what I think about anything I hear on the news, I can go online and find people agreeing with me, no matter what it is. He's at fault, and they just want to cast blame. And then there's so much headlines about hot car deaths, and you're still hearing about hot car deaths. People just are so fucking ignorant in this life. They just never learn. It's a horrific way to die. You die helpless. You foam at the mouth. I mean, sickening that people are just so. I've talked to moms and they're like, I can't. They're like it's ridiculous. I talked to a mom at that hotel. We were talking about, and she's like, we were talking about different things, about negligence of parents and whatnot, and she's like, it's like, no, you don't leave your kids in a hot car. It's just, it's ridiculous that you would forget your kids in a hot car. She just can't even fathom it. She couldn't fathom it. The fact is, I always go back to the same thing. Most of us don't drown in pools as kids when we have parents or caregivers watching us. Most of us don't die in hot cars. So maybe the people who allow this to happen to their kids should start accepting responsibility for their own, just, they're too caught up in their phones or they're just whatever. How do you forget your fucking kid and allow him to die in a hot car? I mean, I just can't comprehend that. And I know I sarcastically say, well, I know I've known of kids, but I just can't comprehend that. Just happened in New York. This guy finds, after 8-hour shift at work, finds his 2 little toddlers, 1 year old, twins or something, dead in the back seat, foaming at the mouth after 8 hours at work. And he was walking around the car, it's not my fault, it's not my fault. Yeah, it actually is your fault. Even if you're not held responsible, like most people in this situation aren't, sadly, in this life, it is your fucking fault. It is. I'm tired of this political correctness bullshit. It is their fault. Just like these kids who drown in the pools, it's their fault for not watching their kids. The very young ones were helpless. I'm not talking about an older one, like one around here in Massachusetts, I think, or something, that sadly was 9 years old. He's able to wander to the pool next door, and it should have been covered. It wasn't even, it hadn't even been opened yet or something. I don't know, something where, and they thought it wasn't even open, it was dirt. It doesn't matter, but that's different than a toddler, a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old. They're completely dependent upon their caregivers to be watching them, particularly when it's parents. I'm even more disgusted when it's parents whose kids drown in pools under their care than caregivers, because that's not their kid. But it's not politically correct to say it. You get people saying, oh, these poor parents are suffering enough, you shouldn't point fingers at them. It was an accident. Yeah. Whatever. Parents they should just know by now. Hot car deaths and drownings, I mean, they just should know. It's in the headlines all the time. And yet it keeps happening. Not only does it keep happening, apparently in certain areas, when I read online, it's happening at an alarming rate. It increases. It keeps going up instead of going down. Even with all the publicity, it still goes up. Drownings, too, of young kids goes up rather than down. This woman was on the news. My news featured it, but I don't think it happened in Mass. I think it's happened in a different state. I think, but it doesn't matter. She's warning people what I already know, what I've read online. I don't even have kids. I just read about all this crap. That drowning is silent. She's like, my kid nearly drowned, and adults were all around him. He was in the shallow end, and I wasn't watching him because I was helping my other kid put a bathing suit on, and he nearly drowned. He had to be resuscitated and whatnot. And she's like, adults were all around, and drowning is silent. Little kids, they don't splash around. You don't even realize they're drowning. It looks like they're just going and holding their breath underwater. You're never gonna. It's silent, and we've heard all this in the headlines. And she's trying to warn people, but what is the point? People should know it by now. They do know, you know what I mean? Drowning is not, you don't splash around when you drown. You struggle and nobody even realizes it. They're playing, they're talking, they're whatever. She's one of the lucky ones. Her kid could easily be dead. He had to be resuscitated, and she at least admitted it. She was like, I wasn't watching him. I assumed that he couldn't drown. He was in the shallow end with a whole bunch of adults watching him, but it took seconds for me to have my eyes off him while I'm helping my other kid with her bathing suit, and he had slipped into the deep end and nearly drowned. It's a miracle he's alive. So we hear stories like that all the time. Drowning is not what you think it is. It's silent. At least in little kids. People falsely believe that they would cry out or something. They don't. They struggle. They don't even realize they're drowning. They're going under, and you just don't know. I've watched on Inside Edition where they have a kid simulate what it's like to drown. You just go under, and nobody knows what you're even doing. No one, even unless they're really paying attention to you. You cannot take your eyes off your kids for a second when they are around water. Period. Pools, oceans, lakes, whatever. Can't do it. Not in the bathtub either. Not for a second. Just, that's all it takes. It takes seconds. It takes, I try to be vigilant. I have a dog that acts, an elderly blind dog who acts like a puppy, and he did it when he wasn't blind. He puts anything he finds into his mouth. That's just what he does. Usually that's reserved for puppies, but there are older dogs that do it. Unfortunately, my dog is one of them. I try to be vigilant. Sometimes with her, I'm fighting an uphill battle. It's not her fault. She's just not able to be as vigilant as me because of her age and her illness and whatnot, you know. I hope this surgery goes all right for her. Always a risk with anything. I found it interesting. Let's end with this. I've here and there I've had these videos where you can't see me and I just talk, get a significant amount of views, and I mean like they might go up to 100 or over a little over 100. They go into my featuring my more popular videos, which are 100 to 499, and then at 500 it goes featuring my most popular videos. But I did those playlists many years ago. Because most of my videos don't get that many views. The only reason I have so many lifetime views is because this channel spans almost 10 years and I have over 10,000 videos. That's why. But anyway, sometimes these videos where you can't see me get more views than I could imagine. I have no idea why. That's no rhyme or reason to it. But in any case, you're not seeing me because I'm braless. And it doesn't matter if I'm makeupless, but I look like hell and I haven't brushed my hair and I just got up and I didn't want to be up until my mom left. Because to be blunt, I don't want to hear her panicking if the person who's supposed to drive her to her cataract surgery that's far away is late. Because my mom will be panicking when there's not a goddamn thing either of us can do about the person supposed to drive her being late. You understand? And I don't need it. Nothing I could do about it. Fact is, there's no guarantee that you'll even have this surgery. Because there could be, doesn't mean you got into a car accident, but there could be an accident that holds up traffic for hours. I mean, anything can happen in this life. Or the person that's supposed to drive you could wind up being sick right beforehand. You know? If my mom's late, they're not going to take her. This is not a deal where it's just her having the surgery and you have to be there at a certain time. And, if you're hours late, they're not going to take you. That's it. You reschedule and then you miss it, and that's the way it goes in this life. But she can't eat or drink, and she's dehydrated and exhausted, and she can't have coffee. And I don't need to be around her, especially if she's going to panic if the person's late. I just would rather not know. I did the same thing last time. So I slept in my room on the mattress. I put a blanket down, but still, the mouse has pissed and shit on that mattress. And I'm sitting there sleeping in there. Because I got my stuff away enough that but I slept horribly. It's too stuffy in there. There's no ventilation. I shouldn't even do it. I could be making myself sick. I know the mouse was running around in there. I'm pissing and shitting. And I'm in there with no ventilation. Understand? The windows are tightly closed. There's no ventilation in my bedroom. When my mom was sick before, my closet didn't have stuff in it. And I had to get away from her because she wasn't sleeping, and I therefore wasn't sleeping. If I sleep on the couch, she goes to bed at 2, gets up at 4. I'm not getting any sleep if she doesn't. I was sleeping on my closet floor. But that was pre-mouse. I shouldn't even be in there at all. I shouldn't be in there at all. I mean, not to sleep. I go in there on my computer, but for sleeping's different. I don't know. I just didn't sleep very good. I don't think I would have slept very good out here either. Even if it's minor surgery, it's still surgery, and I worry about my mom. And, they ask you all kinds of questions. She has problems with her neck. Does she have neck problems? Yes, she does. You should have that from the last time. I can't find the records from the last time. It was just a couple months ago. That's what they have to do, the procedures. And then, has she had any surgeries? She had the gallbladder surgery last year, a year ago, whatever. And before that, she never had to have any surgery except when I was born 50 years ago, and she had to have emergency C-section because I just saved my life. Which in retrospect, ... I won't finish the sentence. And then I told her that I think they asked something similar, and then I say, well, she's had seizures. How often does she have seizures? Oh, she hasn't had seizures in years. But actually, she hadn't had seizures in years, but they suspected, as they don't know, though. That's the thing. They don't know. I believe it was caused by the fucking Thorazine. But that was just over a year ago, that bullshit mental hospital that she was in for the 3rd time, She's gushing to me that this hot doctor and the psychiatrist, compared to the other